Hello, and thank you for joining us for this episode of Talking About Rock, sponsored by School of Rock, Rochester, New York. I spoke with today's guest last year about his project Black Swan with Reb Beach, Jeff Pilson, and Matt Starr for the Generation Mind release. He is back today to talk with us about his new solo album, Alive, due to be released on February 17th on Frontier Records. Coming up, my interview with the amazing Robin McAuley next on Talking About Rock. All right, let's welcome back one of rock's defining vocalists to the show, Robin McAuley. Robin, how are you?
I am very good, Robert. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being with us. I appreciate it. Oh, happy belated birthday to you as well.
Well, thanks for bringing that up.
Well, just give you a quick shout out. So, I would follow you on social media, obviously, and you just got back from, I think you took a trip or a vacation?
Yeah, I was actually a working vacation. We were down in Mexico. We did a corporate show about 2 weeks ago. We were down in Mexico, and right before Christmas, I was down in Bolivia for 2 shows. So before that, I was in Bulgaria. So we're moving around the globe.
You are a busy guy. I know you're always keeping busy with projects. So you're here to tell us about your new solo album, Alive, which is due to be released February 17th on Frontier Records. It sounds amazing.
Thank you so much. Have you listened to the whole thing, or you just got the singles? Or
I just listened to a couple of the tracks, which I love, and your voice continues to amaze me with the new tracks you release. I'm telling you, it just sounds great.
We dropped the title track Alive maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago on it's up on YouTube, and then we just dropped the second one 2 weeks ago, Feel Like Hell, which is also up there, and all of the links and everything to Frontiers if you want to pre-order and all that sort of good stuff.
Yeah, people definitely check it out. And you have this process that I've heard you talk about in other interviews of kind of mentally centering yourself when you get ready to sing, right? You're kind of like get in a space or get in.
You're ready for the job at hand, and I usually map it out, and I like to just leave the end of the songs pretty open in case I get that magical inspiration, man. But when I'm demoing, I spend a lot of time just listening to the music with a blank sheet of paper before I do anything, so that you're in the song. And that's how I approach it. When Alive was one of the first songs that I actually completed, demoed, and I went, this would be a great title track. And I kind of moved around everything else centered on that. Somebody asked me a week or two ago, dude, is this a concept album? And I went, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't think they have too many of those anymore, because people aren't really staring and have that attention span like they used to, unfortunately.
Yeah, I like to sit with every piece of music, and on the day, that's what you get for that song. And I move on, and I move on to the next one, and I'm in that moment. And sometimes I read a lot. Sometimes I use if a story hits me, I'll read up on it and I'll incorporate it into a lyric and that sort of stuff. And I like doing that. Jeff Pilson will tell me when I'm doing the Black Swan stuff, he goes, dude, there's always a story.
Right. We talked to you about that on the last project. Yeah, that was great.
Always a story. And I went, yeah, if you say so.
Right. So, and on this album, you have guitarist Andre Saveso.
Yes.
He's with you on here.
Yeah.
And
as I did on Standing on the Edge, he's, sorry to cut across you, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's just awesome. Yeah.
He definitely sounds great. You have bassist, keyboardist, I'll try to pronounce this correctly here.
Alessandro
Del Vecchio. Yeah.
Yes, good job. Yeah.
And he's also producing it again.
Produces and engineers on this one also, in the midst of 10,000 other bands that he works on, because he's the label guy. But jumping in here, and I want to say this on every interview I do, he manages to make my record sound different than the rest of the Frontiers records, and I'm going to stick to that because I think he does. And look at my artwork. And
right, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, because I know we talked about that a little bit last time. Right? Yeah. Did you have a hand in that artwork? Because you're pretty.
When I wrote the lyrics to Alive, I had already been conjuring up the artwork in my head, and I'm going, oh my God, I'm going to have so much fun with this.
Because you were teasing us on our last show. You're getting ready to do this.
Talking to you before, I love the old vampire movies. I love the old Frankenstein movies. So I headed down the Frankenstein rabbit hole on this one, and I had the artist create this old laboratory type thing with the incubator and bringing the electrodes and the electrical charge.
Right.
And then when we went to do the photos, if you knew me, you'd know I'm not one of those guys. I hate standing up against a wall or a backdrop or a green screen and,
Right, doing just the poses, yeah.
I just hate that shit. I just hate it. I've never liked it. And most of the time, that's what they want. I have a great photographer from the label, Enzo Mazio, and he goes, what do you have in store for us this time? And I said, so I got this idea with this powerful electric charge, and I was trying to come up with ideas of how we could do it as we were doing the photos, which is nigh on
right. And the photos, as you can see, they're amazing, right?
Yeah, nigh on impossible. So he goes, okay, so I have this great post-production person, and so we created a sequence, opening up the charge into and they did an amazing job.
It really pops for sure on there.
It's great. Colors are great, and it's fun, Robert. That's the key. We're having a little bit of fun with it. We're not taking everything like, oh,
right. And it makes it stand out, because if you're not familiar with your tracks, you look at this album and it's a great album cover. Very cool. You know what I mean? And it fits. And when you hear the Alive track, it's just like,
it is, right?
It fits that exactly too. When I heard it, I was like, okay, this is what I was waiting for when you were talking about last time. I gotcha. Yeah, very cool stuff. And we don't want to forget to mention your drummer, Nicholas Papachio, is on this here too, right?
Incredible. Just a powerhouse. And when we did Standing on the Edge, Alessandro and myself, we met during a Schenker show in Sweden. We were doing a festival, and we actually got to hook up and spend some time, because I was late with this record. I should have submitted this last June, and I was nowhere near ready, being out on the road with Schenker and
right. You were just getting ready to do that. When we were talking last time.
And then that got extended. I did more than I was supposed to do, and then we did some festivals. So I said to Alessandro, I said, dude, I am late to the party. And he goes, well, I'm here, so I'm late as well.
Right. So it wasn't just all on you. So.
Yeah. So, we discussed more in person about giving this a harder edge and a different approach to the writing. And off we went to the races, and, they sent me a bucket of songs, and I picked the 12 that I wanted to work on. And as you said, discussing it, how I go very prepared into the studio when it's time for vocals. And I pretty much map everything out from the demo side onwards, and then I leave the ends completely open to what I'm going to do on it. And nothing got changed. I was kind of pissed off. He's going to change something. He's going to suggest something. Why didn't you do this instead of that? And he didn't change anything. And I suppose he liked it. And
I guess he did, right? I guess he did. You were more prepared than you had thought, right?
And I sent him an email, and I go, no changes, dude. What's up? Are you
no
even
notes? No notes.
Are you even listening to this stuff?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Oh, and kudos to him also, because he is so busy, Robert.
Right.
And that little bastard found time to bring a baby into the world at the top end of the year. So mucho congratulations.
Oh, congratulations. Definitely
to him and his wife. So, the guy is so busy, yet, we know what you're doing.
Right. Well, it seems like busy people can definitely get stuff done, right? We figure out how to coordinate our schedules, and we make it work somehow. It might take a little time, but we'll figure it out, right?
It's called time management.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I really love the title track, and I wanted to play that for the folks here real quick. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back here with Robin McAuley on Talking About Rock. Okay, we're back here on Talking About Rock. Just checked out the video for Alive. We're talking about it a little bit. So amazing. Like I was saying, I love how it slowly builds, right? You're like kind of opening the door a little bit and then it erupts. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I wanted to bring as much light into that chorus because it's the song really is about resilience. We've gone through 3 years of kind of hell. We came in post-pandemic, we're all chomping at the bit to get going.
Right.
And what do we discover? We discovered that now people, while happy to be sort of out of that lockdown phase, now we're in this sort of disrespectful, I hate you phase. It's like nobody gives a shit phase. Something happened in the midst of all that, the anger. And I started incorporating that kind of a lyric, into it. And the chorus was basically to say, you can throw the kitchen sink at me because we are very resilient and we have to go forward. We have to get through it. And there's some horrendous stuff going on right now with all of these mass shootings and stuff.
Yeah.
And not to brush it aside, but we will get through this fog and we'll be better and we'll learn something, hopefully.
Right.
And that's kind of where I was going with the song, and I wanted to bring that light and charge and sort of hope. Is that a
Yep.
cheesy thing to say? But
Not at all. I
that's
totally
what it is.
agree because I always consider great music is inspiring, right? It should make you feel hopeful. It
Yeah,
should
and that's
build
what
you
it
up.
was. And it's the darker, the dismal, and then suddenly, pow!
Right.
There it is. There is, it's the old adage, light at the end of the tunnel kind of a thing.
Right. But definitely it builds you up. It gives you that hopefulness spirit, and your voice has been quoted as defining time and sounding as inspired and as powerful as ever
Well, I want to
for
tell
this
you,
stuff.
I did not write
All right.
that.
But that's what other folks have written, what I've seen.
Well, I'm having a great time still doing what I do. I'm not tired of doing what I do. And I always tell people, I guess it's the Irish in me. I'm fiercely stubborn and proud, and I think, at my age, I want to maintain as near as damn it, that element of dignity. I don't want people to be whispering, in the corners or under their hand that guy should really give up.
Right. Because you see a lot of some of the artists that have been around for a while, they're struggling with it and they're having their issues, right? And we've seen that, and folks have been calling that out for different shows
Yeah,
and different things, right?
yeah, yeah. And when I hear those whispers, and I will hear them because my hearing is very good, um, it'll be time to take a step back and go, okay, I don't want to be making, and I'm going to say this loosely. I don't want to be making a fool of myself.
Right. You don't want to stay at the party too long, like they
you
like they
know,
say, right?
thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to say.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, the voice still sounds great. I love it. And you were teasing us last time about maybe re-recording some tracks with Grand Prix. Any news on that front? Maybe you could
Well,
spill a little bit.
if they are listening, I did write and demo everything that they sent me, and they all liked it. And then Phil got bogged down on the road with Uriah Heep, and they're
Right.
celebrating their, I think, 50th anniversary also. Um, they got really busy, and so it kind of, and then they took a bunch of unreleased tracks that we had recorded then. Um, I wasn't 100% happy that they wanted to put them out. They remixed it. They said it was great, remastered it,
Right.
and I still haven't had a copy. So my take was, I want to write new material. I don't want to go back into
Right.
the. I want to go back into the grave. I want to, we're alive now. Let's move forward.
Let's move forward. Right.
Because you're,
Sometimes they like to test that, and they'll take some of the older material, re-release, and
uh,
see how it fits. But yeah,
yeah,
it's more exciting for new stuff, definitely.
I think we know who we are.
Right.
And I think this, if we did release something, we are the Grand Prix now, 2023, not the Grand Prix of 1983. And I think that's super important. It's like, why go back and go, remember we used to do that? Well, yeah, I remember, but you haven't learned anything, you haven't moved forward, because everybody's in different bands and projects, and dive in and steal old stuff there. You write all brand new
Right,
materials.
right. A lot of folks have 2 or 3 projects they're working on nowadays. Very common thing.
Keep it fresh. Keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Do something. Be creative. Be creative, and that's what I like. So we did come up with a few things. They thought it was great, and yeah, now we need to take it to the next level. It's a slow process, you know. And my name is on a bunch of records. It also comes out on Escape Music. I was on Circle of Friends. There's a ton of people. Some people that's actually on the Frontiers label, just guesting. Great record, Circle of Friends. So, and then there's a Gabrielle Deval. She has a record out. I'm on the title track of the album on that.
Yeah, I think I saw it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I share a vocal with her. And I'm also heavily involved with my wonderful and dear Italian composer, Max Di Carlo. And we are writing something completely different. I mean, there's like movie soundtrack stuff. That's what we're doing. And he writes a lot for, there's a lot of sound bites for Netflix and HBO and that sort of stuff. And it's a super exciting project. I get a chance to do something very different. And Max gets excited and he goes, "We have to write an opera."
Very theatrical, right? Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Right.
And it's bombastic, it's epic, it's hugely symphonic. And he just wanted to go down himself. He wanted to do something different. He wanted a sort of a voice on there. He was very happy with my voice on this stuff and what we've done and how we've written over his music, and super fun in the studio because you know he wears a different set of he's got a different hat. He's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
So now you're working with a composer and he hears everything, you know.
Right.
And it's, oh my God, you learn so much. You learn so much in that area of music.
And the way it's structuring things and taking things apart and reworking it, right?
Yeah, oh my God, it's great. It's just great. And I'm thinking, wow, just when you thought you were ready to throw it in, Max arrives on the scene and he goes, "I have this piece of music for you. This is great." And it's wonderful, you know.
Yeah.
It's great. So I'm hoping this year we will get to bring that forward. Regarding the album Alive, I actually will get to perform live in Italy with the whole band, and hopefully other shows because we'll be rehearsed, because Frontiers have brought back the Frontier Festivals.
Excellent.
So we'll be doing that live, and I can't wait. We're hoping that Red Beach will be in town, if not with Winger, maybe with something else, and we may well be able to incorporate some Black Swan into that as well. So I'm hugely excited about this.
That would be outstanding. You're such a busy guy. You got so much stuff going on. I wanted to ask you quick about Raiding the Rock Vault. You did a lot with that back in the day. Any plans about going back and doing any of that? You're probably too busy.
Yeah, so I was one of the original cast. I was in there for 7 years, right up to the pandemic, and almost 1,500 shows performed. And during the pandemic, and then into, I wrote Standing on the Edge, and then a lot of the Schenker stuff came up as we were coming out of the pandemic.
Right.
And I really got a taste for the festivals again and the live shows. And
yeah, that's what it's all about. Yep.
While I loved Vegas, I went, this is where I came from. This is what I do. And I went, I really miss this.
Yeah, and it's a different feel from a Vegas inside show and maybe playing a festival, outdoor show. You can really see the crowd energy.
Yeah, so I may go back in and guest sometime this year. Nothing set in gold yet. They're still working. They're back in and they're back at it with a brand new cast. And most of the original cast are not there anymore. But the show goes on because it's about the show. It's not about who's in it. It's about the show.
Well, I usually hit Vegas once or twice a year, so I hope at some point maybe I can catch you doing that. That would be amazing. So I was going to ask you about summer tour plans, but it already looks like you got some of that covered. You're doing some festivals coming out.
Yeah.
and doing some
Yeah.
shows. Hopefully we'll see that grow.
Yeah, I want to keep the band sort of hot and do more with it. Yeah, that would be awesome. That's the plan. That's the plan.
Excellent. Excellent. Sounds so good. Well, folks out there, if you have not added the new tracks from Alive and feel like hell to your playlist, I highly suggest you do at this time. You can pick up your copy of Robin's new solo album Alive out February 17th from Frontier Music. Robin, thank you so much for joining us today, man. Really appreciate it.
Robert, thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to the next one.
Definitely, definitely. And all you folks out there, if you have comments or questions, feel free to email us at talkingaboutrock@gmail.com. You can like us and follow us on all the social media and check out this interview on YouTube. And it'll also be available on all streaming platforms. Robin, again, thank you so much, man. Look forward to chatting again.
Thanks, Robert. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye.